The virtual assistant from the Philippines gold rush is over. And if you're an e-commerce entrepreneur doing over $1 million a year in revenue, that's actually good news. Because while everyone else chases $2 an hour VAs, there's an untapped caliber of talent ready for you. But right now, you're stuck on that treadmill, grinding on low-value tasks through the night. Data entry, purchase orders, customer service, with your bigger vision getting further away with each passing day. I know because I've been that guy. I started hiring from the Philippines in 2021. After discovering what works in my own 7-figure Amazon business, I've helped dozens of other sellers build teams they actually enjoy working with. Not by chasing the cheapest rate, but by doing it the right way. Today, I'm going to show you how I've done that. We'll go over what I look for in a virtual assistant, how to find this different kind of talent, and how to lead them the right way so they deliver a real ROI. First, let me show you what's really happening in the Philippines right now. You see, an entirely new class of talent has emerged. The Philippines is not just a source of cheap call center labor anymore. Instead, you've got talented professionals, teachers, nurses, business graduates who are looking for meaningful work. And I get it. Imagine working at a hospital in Manila making $400 a month with a 2-hour commute each way. I've interviewed plenty of people with that exact story. So they're turning to remote work. Now they can make a better salary working for a US company and spend that extra time with their families instead of stuck in traffic. But many entrepreneurs are still in an outdated mindset. They're so focused on finding the lowest hourly rate possible, they completely miss what actually matters. They focus on price instead of value. And I understand, the idea of getting someone to handle all your tasks for a couple dollars an hour sounds amazing. Think about it though. Would you apply to a job that screams, I want the cheapest person possible? Neither were the kind of talent you want to attract. So where's the sweet spot for value? For someone you'll train on your ways from the ground up, I've had the best success in the $3 to $5 an hour range. Still a fraction of what you would pay hiring locally in the US. By now, you understand that real success comes from building a team. And you're part of a growing group of entrepreneurs who share this vision too. A group building incredible teams of talented professionals, all based in the Philippines. Teams that actually care about your business. Earlier this year, I experienced it firsthand. One of my team members, Danielle, told me something that stuck with me. She said, I feel like this is my business too. You don't get that kind of dedication from someone you treat like a disposable resource. Speaking of building a dedicated team, let me show you exactly how we do it. With the 3 core principles we spoke about earlier, starting with why I value character over experience. See, everyone's obsessed with experience. It feels safer, right? But experience with who? A business doing everything differently than you would? I don't think you need someone with experience to build a great team. In fact, I don't hire for it on my team anymore, and several of our clients take that same approach. Like Owen, a $4 million a year Amazon seller who was opening his first warehouse while juggling college classes. We matched him with Carla, who had 0 e-commerce background but showed incredible initiative. Then it clicked. Now Owen can focus on the warehouse operations instead of reconciling inventory all night. What you need is great character, but I'm not talking about generic good person. I'm looking for specific traits that will tell me someone will become invaluable, like initiative, intellectual curiosity, an ownership mindset. Basically, someone who thinks like I do, that I actually look forward to talking with. Here's the reality. When you hire for experience, you're paying a premium for training on someone else's process. Like when I've hired someone whose resume said they worked as a product researcher before. The onboarding took twice as long because they had to unlearn the bad training the last guy gave them. And when we obsess about experience, it blinds us from the kind of person they really are. We ignore the character red flags. Sometimes the thing they have experience in is all they can do. When you need to adapt, they can't. I find a lot of value in someone who's never done the job before. It's a clean slate for me. And it's a lot easier to delegate because I already know what a good job looks like. The truth is, I can teach someone product research. I can teach someone customer service, but I can't teach someone to care. I can't teach values. Having this high character will make someone successful in any role, not just the ones they've done before. Even when you know what kind of person you're looking for, finding them is another challenge entirely. And when you're hiring from the Philippines, there's a lot of noise. This is how I've learned to cut through it. First, I craft job postings that intentionally scare people away. Seriously, I put stuff like, if you're just looking to collect a paycheck, this is not for you. Then I make the bonus potential clear. I want it to speak to that high achiever, not the one who wants to get by with the least amount of work. Next is our distribution strategy. These days, I honestly avoid the generic platforms like Upwork. I don't find the quality to be like it used to. Instead, I go for mediums the majority are not using. For us, this looks like running LinkedIn ads, posting in Facebook groups, and sending it out to our VA newsletter. Then comes our 4-level vetting process. For the initial application, level 1, video responses are a non-negotiable for me. Not only does it give me an idea of what an interview would actually look like, it's a natural filter because 71% of applicants give up there. Great, I didn't want them with our clients anyway if that's what stops them. Someone that can follow through with that, even if they are uncomfortable, that's the initiative I'm looking for. Level 2 is sending them to a written response. It's basically a ChatGPT test at this point, because most will use ChatGPT to answer the questions. We present mock scenarios they'd face and ask how they'd react. So for the ones that do answer themselves, I see the way they problem solve and if their values are aligned with mine. And if they make it past there, I want to meet them. So we hop on a 30-minute interview for level 3. Now, this is the part I see a lot of people get wrong. They ask what they think are good questions when in reality, they suck. A question the applicant has already prepared an answer for is a bad question. Then I dig deep. When I ask a question, there's usually an unplanned follow-up. My goal is to try to make it sound as close to a conversation as possible. That's how I get them to open up about how they really feel. Some of my favorite questions are, when was the time in your last job where you impressed your employer? Or what is a moment in your career you would say you're not proud of? If they do well in the initial, we always have a follow-up interview with the client directly. Basically, a way for them to see if they want to commit to this business owner. Overall, the process has to move fast, like less than 2 weeks from start to finish. I don't want the great talent to get swooped up by a competitor. But finding great talent is only part of the equation. Even the best hire will fail or quit without proper leadership. Most people think they're leaders when they're actually managers. You'll hear me make that distinction a lot between manager and leader. Here are some of my core leadership principles. First, build the foundation. Every new team member goes through our Notion training documents at their own pace, but I don't dump it all at once on them anymore. I start with one small section at a time, and they can't unlock the next one until they really understand the current one. Each section compounds on the last. It's like building a pyramid. You need a strong base before adding the next level. But that's just onboarding. Real leadership is what happens after. My next principle is leadership serves. I see so many entrepreneurs manage their VAs like task robots. But real leadership is about serving your team. That's why I do bi-weekly one-on-ones, monthly team meetings, and I'm always checking in with them on Slack. On those meetings, I always ask, what can I do for you? Because I'm here to make them the best they can be. Then there's autonomy with accountability. I give my team the freedom to execute their way, but with clear expectations about the outcomes. I don't care about tracking their mouse movements. I care about the results. Results are what I hold them accountable to. But the key is I align their incentives with the business. As the great Charlie Munger would say, show me the incentives and I will show you the outcome. So I make it clear to them how doing their job well will benefit them. When they succeed, the business succeeds. When they feel ownership, they take initiative. That's the difference between managing tasks and leading a team. Now, let me show you what happens when you use these principles to build your team. When you focus on character over experience, attract the right talent, and lead instead of manage, you allow high-performing talent to excel. Take Steve, an Amazon seller doing $1.5 million in revenue who hit a wall trying to hire on his own. That changed when we matched him with Rico. Now, almost a year later, they're still going strong. Because Steve taught him from the ground up and gave Rico real ownership of his role. I've seen this transformation in my own business too. When I started with my team captain, Christelle, I thought I was hiring someone to help with some product sourcing. But after I became the coach she needed, she's become far more than that. In the last year alone, Christelle generated over $100,000 in gross profit for the business. She handles our repricing, trains our new team members, and spots opportunities I often miss. Now, instead of being trapped in the day-to-day operations, my VA team handles almost everything. That's 120 hours a week I can spend on doing the higher level tasks. But right now, you're probably spending hours each day on tasks that could be delegated. Let's do some quick math. Take just one data entry task, something that's eating up 2 hours of your day. If your time is worth, say, $35 an hour, that's $350 a week. $1,600 every month you're spending on work that could be taught to someone else. Think about that. Every month you put off building your team the right way, you're basically writing a $1,600 check to do work that's below your pay grade. And that's just one task out of the 40-hour week a good e-commerce virtual assistant could be handling for you. This training gives you a framework to build from. You can take these principles and find your own path forward. That's exactly what I've spent countless hours doing since my first hire back in 2021. I've refined these lessons through trial and error, both in my own business and for other e-commerce entrepreneurs. But here's the reality. The VA market is getting more crowded every single day. Not always with good talent. There's a lot of noise that comes with it, and it's only getting worse. So while you're spending hours searching through this flood of applications, trying to find that needle in a haystack, you're still stuck doing all of these other tasks yourself. So right now, you're at a fork in the road. You can keep doing what most e-commerce business owners do. Continue handling the day-to-day tasks yourself, hoping it gets easier while the talent market becomes noisier. Or you can build a real team that actually helps you scale your business way cheaper than hiring from the US will ever be. If you've made it this far, you already know what path you need to take. You can't afford to waste any more of your valuable time on low-value tasks. And you definitely can't afford the cost of making the wrong hire. That's exactly why I started Talented. I saw too many e-commerce entrepreneurs struggling with the same problems I faced. While everyone else is drowning in that flooded VA market, we've built something different. A machine to attract and vet the kind of VAs who become genuine assets to your business. Think about it. How many hours have you already spent trying to find the right person? And how many more hours will you waste if you hire the wrong one? We eliminate all of that. Take Evan, who has built up his business and is selling tens of millions per year. He knew trying to hire a VA alone would drain his precious time. So we matched him with Tony, who he describes as a beast. She was so good, he came back for a second VA within a month. And it was an identical story with Chris, who also sells tens of millions per year. We found him 2 great virtual assistants. When you work with us, you get access to our entire system. From our brand in the Filipino community, our 4-level vetting process, all the way to the 30-minute interview. You only show up for the final conversation with the pre-vetted candidates. And at that point, they're basically interviewing you. And the best part, you only pay if you hire. No monthly fees, no subscriptions, and no middleman. Because just like the talent we find, we're in this for the long term. We want you to build a real team that helps you scale, so we place the talent directly into your business. Now, we only work with a select number of clients each month, because finding truly exceptional talent takes time and attention. Each placement gets my personal oversight. I'd rather help a couple entrepreneurs build amazing teams than rush through 100 mediocre hires. And if you do it on your own, each failed hire means starting the entire process over again. But what if you could get it right the first time by working with people who have done it many times for entrepreneurs just like you? So if you're ready to stop wasting time on $5 an hour tasks and start building a team that allows you to focus on the things only you can do, click the link below to schedule a strategy call with my team. We'll understand exactly what kind of help you need and make sure we're actually a good fit for each other. If we are, we'll start our search immediately. In just 2 weeks, you could be interviewing your future CEO.